This video is about the French Cable Station Museum in Orleans, Massachusetts. This is a marine telegraph museum. Marine telegraph cables connected the continents of the world together. They had unique problems to be solved due to the long distances involved in the harsh environment from being under the ocean. At one time, there were several thousand marine telegraph stations in the world, all of them on prime seashore real estate. Today, there are only three that remain of the museum. There's the French Cable Station in Orleans, the Porthcurno Telegraph Museum in Porthcurno, UK, the Heart's Content Cable Station in Heart's Content, Newfoundland. In 1972, a group of private citizens of Orleans, Mass. Were able to purchase the station and set it up as a museum. It is listed in the National Register of Historical Places and other historical commissions. What is in the history of this museum that makes it so interesting? The station, when it was in operation, was the American termination point for a telegraph cable that came directly from France to Orleans, Mass. It was called Le Direct, the direct cable. In World War I, the American general in France, General Pershing, communicated with the United States government through this station. In 1918, a German submarine sank 4 barges off the coast of Orleans. It is believed that the attack by the German submarine was an unsuccessful attempt to disrupt the communication between General Pershing and the U.S. government. In 1927, the news that Lindbergh had landed in Paris came through this station and was distributed from here throughout the United States. The station was closed in 1959. The original equipment is still in the museum, and some of it can be demonstrated. Now you'll have an opportunity to see the station itself and see some of the equipment. This video is not a substitute for actually visiting and touring the museum. It is intended to give you a taste of what you will see. As we walk around, you will see that the equipment is as it was when the station closed in 1959. A lot of the equipment can be demonstrated, but some of it cannot be repaired and cannot be demonstrated. As you tour the museum, you will get a better understanding of the technological accomplishment that helped to bring the United States into the world community. You will visit the repair room, test room, operations room. In the actual tour, you would return to the superintendent's office and be able to examine the photos and memorabilia on the walls. We will also have you sign our guest book after the tour. The repair room was where the men had their tools and the equipment to repair the cable equipment and the cable. On the wall are photos of the men out at sea repairing the cable. There are also many samples of the cable, both those that are in the deep ocean and those that were near the shore. Let's take a look at the repair room. The test room contains the equipment to determine the location of a fault in the cable. The equipment on the left found the location if the problem was a short to the seawater. The one on the right did the same if the cable actually broke but did not short to the seawater. Another part of this DVD explains how this equipment worked. In the room is the Hertley magnifier, one of the 3 remaining in the world. It amplified the weak signal from the marine cable to a signal 18 times as large. This was done without vacuum tubes or transistors. It was very sensitive to vibration. It was isolated from the surrounding area. The technique for isolation includes the use of tennis balls. Let's take a look at the test room. The operations room was the heart of the station. This is where the signals came in and were retransmitted. The marine galvanometer is located here. The operator would sit and watch this for hours to read the message coming in from France. In later years, the siphon recorder was used to record the incoming signal. Automation for transmission of a signal is shown here also. The mallet perforator allowed an operator to prepare a paper tape for transmission. Individual strokes created the dots, dashes, and spaces for each letter. Later in time, a device called the Kleinschmidt perforator did the same, but with a single stroke of a key for each letter. The paper tape could then be read into the automatic transmitter. The use of this automation reduced error and increased the transmission rate. This room also contains the adjustment cabinet and samples of the artificial cable used in duplex operation. Let's take another look at the operations room. The end of the tour is in the superintendent's office. Feel free to look at items on the wall, both here and in the hallway. Near the superintendent's desk is a copy machine. The handwritten correspondence of the museum was duplicated to onion skin paper while the ink was still wet. Let's take a look around the office. The cable shack is not part of the museum, but belongs to the National Seashore and is located at Nauset Light. When it was no longer in operation, the shack was sold to a private owner who added 3 rooms and used it as a summer cottage. In 1973, the shack was purchased by the Park Service and then restored to its original condition. Occasionally, the shack is open by the National Seashore and can be visited. Now that you have a flavor of the museum and what we have to offer, please come and visit us. Our guides are very knowledgeable and love to show visitors around and talk about the cable station when it was in operation. Thank you.